and 80% of them, maybe more, teach the body of the song wrong. A few do it the right way, most do it wrong. Hey guys, welcome back to the Drummission, our second video of the year and our first tutorial of the year. So I like to think of instructional as when I'm teaching a technique or something like that, and a tutorial when I'm going through the intricacies of a song, a particular song that guys just want to know. So today we're doing Rock and Roll from Led Zeppelin. And people have been bugging me about this for at least the last 6 months, especially after I put out the video on Black Dog, which now has like 34,000 views. It's done very well. Making a little money off that one. I appreciate it. And people say, do it on rock and roll, do it on rock and roll. But the only reason I didn't do it last year is because if you type in rock and roll Led Zeppelin drums on YouTube, 90 kajillion videos will come up. 90 kajillion.
I'll take a pound of nuts. That's a lot of nuts!
And I kept thinking, well, what am I gonna say that those other guys didn't already say? And what am I gonna show you that's any different than what those guys did? And then I started watching a few of them. And 80% of them, maybe more, teach the body of the song wrong. A few do it the right way, most do it wrong. And I couldn't believe that. I go, okay, well now I have a reason to say this. There are a few guys that do it the right way, and I'm going to show you the correct way to do the body of the tune. So let's dig right in right now. We'll start with the intro, which, to their credit, almost everybody gets right. Okay, the body of the intro, very famous. It's just the snare drum and the hi-hat playing together at the same time. But what gets a little screwy with it, why people kind of have a hard time with it, is because it starts on the end of 3, but there's no count, so it sounds like it's starting on 1, and if you counted it that way, then you got to add a bar of 3/8, which is ridiculous. They wouldn't be doing that. But if you count it as starting on the end of 3, you're good. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Even when I hear it on the radio, or I have Sirius radio. Excuse me, I have Sirius radio. My pinky tells you I'm special. Okay, I have Sirius radio, and I hear that coming on. If I'm not paying attention, and I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, that's 1, and it throws me for a second, and I know where it starts. So the story goes that Bonham was doing his rhythmical version of like Chuck Berry or a whole lot of shaking going on, and I'll put the counting up here, but I'm going to do it twice, nice and slow, clapping my hands, the rhythm that he plays, and I'll sing it, what they say he was thinking, and I'm sure he was, and I'll count it. Let's do it first singing with it, okay? So in other words, it's 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da. 1. Okay? Let me count it now. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. That's what he was doing. So again, this is very simple. There's no bass drum. It's just snare and hi-hat doing the same thing. And he's playing those accents on the snare as well as all the other eighth notes. So nice and slow, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Now, if I was doing that live, depending on the club, I might I might rim shot all those accents. Not necessarily, though. I'm not sure if Bonham does. Hard to tell the way they have his snare mic'd and the way it's so big sounding. He might be rim shotting, he might not be. I'm not sure. Let me play that up to tempo for you right now, and I will rim shot them because I like it in here better. I think it's more pronounced. The accents become more pronounced. So here we go, kind of up to tempo. I'm not going to figure out exactly where it is. I'm just going to play it from my head, okay? So here we go, the intro of Led Zeppelin. I'm opening up my hi-hat so it sloshes around. I'm going to play all those eighth notes, and I'm thinking of that rhythm. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Right, that's what we're thinking of in our head. Or we're counting 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, there you have it. That is the intro. Now, let's get into the body of the song. And this is what everyone gets wrong. Oh. The body of the song. This is what they get wrong. Body of the song. This is what they get wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Well, Glenn, I've watched a lot of videos, and the body of that song is pretty easy. No, it isn't. I'm going to show you why. Most of the people that teach the body of this tune teach this. Can you do that on a gig? Yeah, you can. Is it going to work just fine? Yes, it will. Is it what Bonham did? No, it's not. Did Bonham do what I'm about to show you live? I don't know if he did it all the time live. It might have depended on how he felt. He does all the eighth notes on the snare with the hi-hat, accenting 2 and 4 as well. That is an old New Orleans trick. And there are a couple of dudes on the internet who do teach this the right way. So, at 170, how do we keep up those eighth notes in both hands like that? You need Moeller. You need the Moeller technique. I have a million videos on it. There's a cajillion of them on the internet. I'll put a link in the description to mine. I think I have 1 or 2. Out of my 200 videos, 200 odd videos. I'll put links for that, and there's a lot of people. You gotta do is type in Moeller technique. Let's do that first. Remember, I'm left-handed. I'm gonna do this with my right hand. If you're right-handed, you'll do this with your left hand. So, Moeller is this up and down whipping motion, right? So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So notice, I come down for 2 with a nice snap, and then and 3 and. I'm coming up with my entire elbow and wrist, and then and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Watch it a little more speed. You know, I shaved before. There's like always little things on my shirt. Hope it didn't bother you. Okay, because this one's going good. I've already done this teaching 4 times. I like this one. I'm not retaking it. Okay, watch. You can add rim shots to that as well. It sounds very full, it sounds very heavy, it sounds very kind of almost like a little bit on the marching side, and New Orleans was famous for that. So now we're going to add to that, very easy, the hi-hat doing the same thing, and I'm going to accent 2 and 4 with the hi-hat. He does it sometimes, he does it all the time. I like it, I feel like it gives me more power. And I'm going to add the bass drum on 1 and 3. So everything else is very simple, but this can be taxing doing it for 4 or 5 minutes long. And on the recording, they got Jimmy Page's guitar solo, but if you're sitting with a band and they got a keyboard player or a sax player and they're all taking solos, this can be taxing. So what Bonham did was he broke it up sometimes to give his hands a break by doing little syncopated things on the hi-hat and the snare. And I'm going to show you that at the very end. That is a good way to give your hand a 2, 3, 4 second rest. And then you go back to doing it, right? That is a very common thing. It's like a cheat in some ways, but not really. But he doesn't do 16th notes. He doesn't do any crazy doubles on the bass drum. It's very simple. Stays with 8th notes. So if I got the call to do this, I would stay in that realm. I wouldn't do every fill that Bonham did. I wouldn't even learn them. But I would stay in that realm of very 8th notey. So let's do this nice and slow with everything, right? And my Moeller. You can watch it on the little sports cam here, all right? So let me count you in nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, Take you out to the next spot, which is the bonus round. Stay with me if you want. I'm going to add a little bit on that cadenza that he does at the end. All right, we're going to be at 170, which is where the song is. I got my metronome going. I'm going to count us in. I'm going to do the body of the song, not the intro. We just did that. Here we go. I like to check that camera. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright guys and girls, the Bonham Cadenza in rock and roll. I'm going to keep saying cadenza, not solo, because I want you to sound like you know about music. And it's not a solo, it's a cadenza. Cadenza is like something sax players do it, vocalists do it, drummers can do it too.
Wile E. Coyote, super genius.
Alright, so here's what he does. So if I was doing this live, again, Bonham just did this in the studio. And if we heard a different take than whatever take we heard, and I'm not a big Zeppelin aficionado like I am a Beatles aficionado, I don't know which take we're hearing, but I'm sure take for take he did this a little bit different. How do I know that? Because live he does it differently. Sometimes he breaks it into an all-out real solo. Sometimes it's just a different version of what I'm about to show you. And am I going to do it exactly, note for note? No, but I'm going to do it the way that I play it, and I'm going to show you what are the parts of this thing that you have to do fairly identically so that the people and the guy who hired you for that night turns around and gives you a smile and you just got called back. Because you got to do those parts that people remember about this. And what does everybody remember about everything? The beginning. So at the very beginning of this cadenza, he does this. 2 hits, and then a 4-stroke rough. Now again, I'm left-handed, I'm leading with my right on that. You can lead with your left, either way you want. Again. Easy, easy. Now the next little section is this little tom-tom thing, and again, I've never really, you can watch some of these videos, and you'll see them write it out with 30-second note triplets. Bonham did not do it that way. He did not count this out. This is not notated. No, he felt this. He felt this. And I'm not sure what he was thinking in his head. A little hard to get it exactly like he did it, but I think of it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I hear the most is those 2 hits at the end and a little tom-tom back and forth. You do it this way, it's going to work just fine, and it's going to be a little more rock steady in your body. So watch, up to that point. Again. All right, now the second part. I actually add a snare note after this that I know he doesn't do, and I just like it. It sort of sets me up for the rest of it. We're going to leave that out for the moment. And he now does 6 sweeps. What's the bottom sweep? Anyway, I heard he does a herda. Yeah, depending who you watch or listen to, they're going to have a couple of different ideas on this. But some people say he'll do, at the end it's 2 hits on the bass drum. We'll get to that. It's only 1, I think. But the sweep, which is this. He does 6 of those. And he does it fairly quickly. So if you're not good at that, you want to get good at that, because that's one of those parts that you kind of got to get, because that's what they remember. They remember this little section. So watch. You want that to be happening. It's cool. 6 of those. Again, nice and slow. Now, the next part, this is the tough part. It's bottom triplets. If you're having trouble, can you stop and then go into the bottom triplets and give yourself a second pause? Sure. Bonham does it. So he finishes that last sweep and right into the bottom triplets. So in other words, you got to get good at that. And that's how I did it. I worked on that until I had it. Now let's continue that. Those triplets are... So let me do that slow from the last sweep. Here we go. And I'm going to do it a couple of times. Are you hearing it? I love that. I love that. You're gonna do it slow until you got it. So let me do all 6. And that little bottom triple part, slow. And then I'll show you the very ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now without me counting. One more time. I love that. I love that. I love that. And then once he comes up to here, it's... So you got those 2 hits, and then a cymbal crash, okay? And that, however you want to do that very ending, once you have that, I have found I have done all sorts of different things at the end. Nobody cares once you do that. Once you do that. So let me take you out with the rock and roll ending here. The cadenza.
Wile E. Coyote. Super genius.
And I'll see you on the next one, guys. We got a lot of stuff planned. The next video should have my new camera. And it's going to be a talking head one, I think, because I want to learn how to use the thing. See you on the next one, guys. We got a lot of stuff planned this year. Here we go. You do that, hopefully a little better than I just did, they will be inviting you back. They will be inviting you back. All right, with a couple of smiles that day. All right, guys, see you on the next one.